Hello, good evening, welcome to Easy 8's Online Painting Club. As always, my name is Danny, says it right down there at the bottom of the screen, and I hope you've had a good week. I've had an exceptionally long week at work. It's been very, very tiring. Lots of office stuff, lots of hard, grueling admin work, and it's taken the life and soul out of me this week, and I'm really looking forward to getting on with some painting this evening. If you are new here, Easy 8 is not a tutorial or a learning thing or anything like that at all. There's already loads of stuff like that out there on YouTube. Go and have a look. There's loads of wonderful stuff. This is literally just a painting club online, like it says on the tin. So you can come along here, paint your models along live with the company that I provide, and with some of the guys over here in the live chat as well. We've got Jeff, we've got Steph, and we've got Adrian. Hi Adrian, it's been a long time since we've seen you on the live chat. We've got Steph and Jeff. Hi, thanks very much for coming along. Nice to see you as always. So yeah, it's Adrian. Is that like a Rocky reference going on there? Anyway, for the next 2 hours I'm going to be painting my models. This evening I'm going to be doing something completely different, something completely off-piste. I've not done this before ever, and I've not done it on the show or anything like that, so I'm really excited to do something quite different. Now, last week I was experimenting and playing around with a new webcam here. It's an Elgato face cam. I really like it. It's got much better resolution. The quality of everything is just that much better. But the zoom, the distance, the focus at that point is a little bit difficult to work out. Its brightness levels are much different than what I'm used to. So I would really appreciate your feedback during today's show or any show. Anything to do with quality, audio, video, how I look. I appreciate all of that. It'll be great to hear from you. You can either drop it there in the live chat, or you can put it down there in the comment section. You can contact me on Facebook, because we're not just here on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Discord, we're also on Twitter, but that's not going very well at the moment. I think that I use Facebook like Twitter, and I think that the community uses that better, so I'm actually considering just ditching Twitter, and it's just bombarding me all the time with just rubbish social media, pointless things all the time, and it's depressing. Like we always say, the state of the world with social media is Twitter, guys. It's one of the leading things I've discovered, not being a massive Twitter user, so I might ditch Twitter. If it suddenly takes off, then I will just, you know, I'll stay with it, whatever, but otherwise I might get rid of it. We'll keep it going for a little while, see what happens. But hey, we're on these platforms too. And there's links to all of our platforms down there in the description, along with a load of other really cool, interesting sites and websites and YouTube channels, people who we support, people that support us, people who provide wonderful services and models and sculpting and painting and products, and you should go and check them out because they're all amazing. Yeah. If you like what we do here at Easy 8, please do consider subscribing, because every little bit really helps this channel grow, and we are up to a record number of subscribers, 105. Been sat there for a few weeks, and that's absolutely fine. Doesn't have to grow every week. The fact is we are growing naturally, organically. People who like the show come along and stay, which is wonderful. So thank you very much to all of you who continually subscribe and share the word of Easy 8. Don't forget to get the name out there. Go tell some people randomly in the street. Go and say about us to someone at work who you think might be interested. Just put a poster up or something. That'd be cool. Also, hit the thumbs up button down there. I did a little bit of research into YouTube, and if I understand it rightly, if you hit that button, it spreads the word. It kind of gets it out there that you like this video, you'll get more things like this, but also I think it kind of spreads the word that other people have similar interests. It might show up on their stuff as well. So hey, hit the thumbs up button. We've got 105 subscribers. Let's try and get, like, you know, 90 plus thumbs up down there per video. That would be really helpful. Thank you so much for everyone and your continued support. Got lots of really exciting news this evening, and I'm not going to just belch out all my content in one go. I'm going to drip feed it to you throughout the evening. And it does say down here that it was Stafford's birthday the other day. It was. I went out for a pint with him, too, and Dave from the live chat who normally joins us. And no, so happy birthday to the other day, but just like the guys in the live chat there, I'm going to say it again. Happy birthday for the other day. I hope you had a lovely day. Anyway, look, that's enough about dribbling on about the show and stuff. I've lost the information that I was reading from, so I'm just trying to bring that back up on the side over here. Here we go then. So let's get over to the workbench and let's talk about some stuff over here. And of course, here is what my new camera looks like. The brightness is like completely saturated. Like it's really bright over here, not so bright over there. Even if I was like to like dim this light, it doesn't do an awful lot to here. But if I put models in the middle, you can see it really clearly. Quite zoomed out at the moment, but I can zoom in a little bit. If I zoom in too far, we start to get very grainy, and I don't really like the way that looks. But it does mean I can zoom in and kind of show you something if I need to. So if you want to zoom in on something, just say zoom in on that, because I've got much better controls over things than I used to, which is one of the reasons why I wanted this camera. Also, it's just the resolution. It's an amazing camera, and it was totes worth buying it. That's right, totes. I'm going to zoom into about here, I think, because that'll be good. This is a very small tank. I've moved the camera up so that it can focus better at this level. I had it much closer to the desktop, and it wasn't able to focus very well because its focus point is just around about here. So I'm going to shrink the screen, because I can do that. What you see here, I can actually like shrink this down, and it will expand it naturally, so you'll get much better fidelity as I do that. I've just had no time, and also I'm glad to report it is a normal temperature here in the studio. It's nice. I've had fans going. I bought an air conditioning unit, like a little desktop conditioning unit, and it wasn't powerful enough. I tried it when I was gaming, and it was just, how am I going to carry on doing the show if it's hot like this every summer? And today it's been raining for hours, and it's lovely. Some comments that are going in. No Sambuca shots this year then. So a couple of years ago, took Staff out for his birthday. We had a lot of Sambuca shots. It was a great day. Happy birthday, Staff, the other day. Says Kes. Hi Kes, thanks for coming along. I think I got away with that. No Sambuca this year. Had a brain hemorrhage, I think it was called. Oh yeah, no, it wasn't a brain hemorrhage. It was an alien brain hemorrhage. It was like a blue shot drink with something that was probably like Bailey's in it, so it instantly curdled, and it turned into like this upside down jellyfish. So it had like a big blob at the bottom with these tentacles going up, and at the bottom it turned red, and it looked revolting. So happy birthday. Hope that didn't upset your stomach too much. Anyway, what am I going to be painting this evening? I'm going to be painting some dinosaurs. I absolutely bloody love dinosaurs. I can't help it. I think that's the first time I've done a swear on this show. I've always been fascinated with dinosaurs, as every child has, and I never grew out of it. So I've got some lovely minis here that I'm just going to bring over. There's one that I can't do today, and I'll show you why that is in a minute. These 3D printed dinosaur models came from a gentleman I met at the Exeter show, Exeter Legionary. Go and check them out, they're really good. They're on once a year. I live very close to Exeter, so about 50 miles away. So I was able to go down there, took the Easy 8 crew down there, and every time I go, I buy a different dinosaur. This comes from Disain Studios. I hope I pronounced that correctly. It looks like disdain, but without the second D. Disain Studios. Now, these are actually kind of like reflecting the light really weirdly because of all the layers on them. But they are beautiful models. They've got a few little things on there that need a little bit of cleaning up. I've been over most of it and done it, but I'm not really fussed about that. I just kind of wanted them to have some fun, do something different. And a few of them have been sat on my desk for over a year, because I went to a Legionary show just over 12 months ago for the first time, and I met Disain Studios down there, and I bought this beast, my T-Rex. He's so cool. He's not really anatomically correct for a T-Rex, and I am that anal because, yeah, I always wanted to be a paleontologist when I was a kid, and I never really got the grades. But as an adult, I am considering going back to, study university from home. Study university, you know what I mean. To become a paleontologist, to honour the child that I was. Anyway, I digress. This is my T-Rex. The T-Rex is so big, he has these drain holes down here. That is because he's a hollow model to save on, the printer from doing loads of unnecessary work and the resin. But when the resin is liquid, it will erode or corrode the dried or the cured resin. It's very, very bright. Let me move these lights away. Any better? How's that? That's a bit better, isn't it? Yeah, it's basically it damages the cured resin. And if you've got even a tiniest little bit inside, which is quite likely, it will gently eat away at the cured resin over a period of time and damage the model. And that has happened. Even though we had these big drain holes in there, there must have been the tiniest little bit of liquid inside. And what happened is, over time, I didn't know, is his leg split here. So somehow, maybe it was running down and trickling or something. You can see there's like a little bit of pooling up just on the back of his calf in there. See that just in there? So I think it's kind of been running down and pulling up, or maybe on the inside of his leg. That's where it was. So what you can do, and I don't have a resin printer, so I don't really. I only knew about these things recently. Is you can get like a little UV LED on the end of like a wire and put it into drain holes, and it goes inside and kind of shines UV light around the side, and that cures it. But Kez, who's in the live chat now, recently co-purchased a 3D printer and equipment, and I asked if she wouldn't mind putting this T-Rex in the curing machine, and we think that it's good to go. We think it's cured. What I need to do is run this or dunk it in some hot water, soften that resin up ever so gently, not over the whole model, just on that leg, squeeze and clamp that gap shut, and then hopefully seal it forevermore. So because of that injury, T-Rex can't be painted today. I have here an Ankylosaurus. I've always called it Ankylosaurus, but some people call it Ankylosaurus. I don't actually know the correct way, but Ankylosaurus, Ankylosaurus, whichever, potato. Beautiful models, one of my favourite herbivore dinosaurs. I think they're absolutely cracking. This sort of dinosaur, a breed of this dinosaur, Nodosaurus, they've got a skeleton, not a skeleton, they've got a fossil, sorry, in a museum. Where did I go? Can't remember where it was. I don't think it was in London. Anyway, I went into a museum and they've got a fossil of the armour on top of it, so we know exactly what his armoured plates look like, and that was incredible to see. I'm thinking about painting this guy today just because I think I can get some really cool, sort of paint schemes going with him. I've got my favourite dinosaur of all time, Carnotaurus. I picked this one up this year when I went down to Exeter. I absolutely love Carnotaurus. I think he's amazing. He's got some really cool horns on him. It's just my favourite dinosaur. I think he looks awesome, and it's the only type of this dinosaur, and we've only got one skeleton of it, and it's almost complete, which is just wonderful. It's got the tiniest arms in comparison to its body compared to any other dinosaur. They are so small. These are actually probably too big for it in terms of this model, which I think is really interesting. He appears ever so slightly briefly in Jurassic World Dominion. He fights an Allosaurus in the middle of Madrid, and he also gets beat up by a T-Rex at the beginning. I think that was in Dominion. Anyway, he appears in a couple of times. He's also in Camp Cretaceous for the kids. I like him. And I've also got, just because it's cool, when I picked up the T-Rex, at the same time I've got this Terror bird. It doesn't come from the Mesozoic era, which contains the Triassic, Jurassic and Cretaceous, and this comes after. This is what is hotly speculated that the dinosaurs evolved into, and then these evolved, or devolved in some way I suppose, into common everyday birds that we know today. Terrifying when you think that these things were 3 meters tall. Looks pretty aggressive. He's got a really good eye. So angry. But I want to kind of do something special because he's got feathers, and I want to have a practice at painting dinosaurs first. So it brings me down to these two. And I think I'm just going to paint this guy because I could do like browny sort of armour and lizardy sort of skin under here. And it's just nice and easy to hold and paint, right? So let's bring my lights back in. I'm really sorry about the reflective nature of everything going on here today. Soz. What's really interesting is underneath, like, he's all shiny and glossy, but on the top you can actually, the reason it is kind of reflective, like a reflector, is because all the trying to get all the roundness and all the spikes on him, the 3D printer's kind of got lots of steps, and even though they're virtually microscopic, they just kind of pick up the light in this really super reflective way. So it's probably a little bit disruptive to look at on the screen there. Anyway, it's got a couple of little dots left on where he's attached to all the supports, etc. He's got one under his chin just here. I have been over him and trimmed and sanded most of them, but every now and again I see a new one. So I'll get rid of that one there. I'll get rid of this one here. That's nice and cool. Yeah, again, I'm not really fussed about it. He's got a little broken spike on his side here. I think that might just be like a little bit of damage from either transporting from the show or probably like coming out of the printer. But you know what? They would have had damaged spikes, wouldn't they? They would have. So, you know, I'm not too fussed about it. I think it's okay. I think it looks quite authentic. Anyway, really looking forward to painting him this evening. Stafford says, how do you guys paint red brick buildings? Thinking of a beige undercoat and try to dry brush the bricky terracotta, so please do give me ideas. I think a very good way of doing brick is to do exactly what you're saying. Get a beigey colour down for the mortar and then dry brush all over and get the terracotta on there. If the mortar lines are deep enough, then they should stay you know, they should stay the same sort of colour. You can always go over it with a heavy wash of that beigey colour to kind of return any lost beiginess. And then you can just kind of like keep going backwards and forwards between dry brushing and terracotta, washing with the beige. But if you water it down enough, it should just run between all the bricks and won't be a problem. So yeah, that's what I would try. Jeff says you could do it that way, Steph, or you could paint it red and wipe it over with a light colour for the mortar. There you go. Give it a go. Give both a try. See what you prefer. Because you really liked the dry brushing last week. I did a little hiccup there. I don't know if you heard that. Okay, let's see how the light works on this. It tends to dull the white down. The light down, the white down. You know what I mean. Yeah, Ankylosaurus. So, would love to know what you think, what colours I should do on him. I've got the airbrush beside me. I used it a little while ago. I haven't cleaned it out for a while, so we might have some problems there. But I'm just here, just chilling out, painting these guys, because work's been so busy. I haven't really been planning anything. Literally, there's a lot of heavy work at the moment, lots of depressing and difficult work. So, yeah, it's just nice to come back and just chill out and not have to think about things, which is why I really enjoyed doing the tanks last week. So yeah, I think like a nice browny, bony sort of colour for the top, quite dark, not like a bone colour. I think it will highlight up to a sort of a bonish sort of colour. Oops, it's got a live on. And I'm thinking just the traditional sort of green, not bright greens, but you know, like muted greens, softer greens, foresty greens. And then yeah, I don't know how I'll do his eyes. I mean, obviously these aren't like Tyranids or fantasy creatures, so trying to do their eyes like bright colours to make them stand out and kind of give them some character is probably, you know, the wrong sort of thing to do with these kind of creatures as war games pieces. And ever since a child, I go, oh, there's an eye, I'll make it stand out by painting it bright red or something. So yeah. Adrian says bright pink with yellow polka dots. Imagine if dinosaurs were actually coloured like that and we had it wrong this entire time. Terrifyingly amusing. Anyway, let's get some primer on him first of all. I think I'm going to go with some grey primer. I think I'll do that. First of all, I need to find my grey primer. There it is, I got it. Here it is, cool. Grey primer. I'm just going to turn on my compressor and hopefully it doesn't make the camera jolt out. We are all good. Hopefully you can still hear me. Olive drab. You're right, I could do olive drab. I've actually got a selection of greens from Citadel for doing space marines and orcs and things like that. So I could try, they're all brush, but I could try thinning them down and seeing how that works. I've got lots of stuff that I can try. Airbrush is flowing air really well. It was a little bit tight because there's obviously something still in the paint chamber and that was just being a little bit restrictive. So I might just run a quick bit of cleaner through it. Just to make sure that anything in there just kind of gets loosened up and cleaned up. So that's what I'll do now. A little bit of cleaner. There we go, neat cleaner. Kez says, I have been building some more sections for my city. Do you know what? I haven't actually asked that yet, have I? What are you building this evening or painting this evening? I would genuinely love to know. I don't just say that to farm the likes. Please do let me know. If you're working on something this evening, do tell me. And you can put a photo of it up on Facebook. You can put it up on Discord because we're over there as well at the Easy 8 After Party where you can come and join me after the show. Have a chat, have a video chat if you want to, or you can just type. Just come and have a chit chat with anybody who comes and joins me. You can put photos up there for everyone to talk about. Do whatever you want with it. I'm just genuinely inspired. That's the whole point of the show, right? Is to kind of see what everybody else is doing, share tips and things. I would love to know what it is that you're working on. So tell me. Great. Kez, yes, but what you were saying, been building some more sections for my city. Kez bought 30 square feet. It's a lot of feet from uncertain scenery for Battletech, and I've got to say, mate, it is looking awesome. So well done. Better than I could have ever done anyway. Right, so all I'm doing is I've just got a little bit of neat cleaner in the airbrush. And I'm just kind of blasting it through into this cotton bud. I'm just kind of cleaning the end of the needle. There we go. That needs a little bit of water going through it just to get rid of that alcohol or that cleaner or whatever chemical component it is in there. Jeff says red browns? You mean red browns for the dinosaur? You reckon red browns would suit it? The armour or for the skin? Red browns is an interesting colour. Adrian says currently working on finishing off Azrael and starting on the Terminator Librarian from the Leviathan box set. You got the box set, did you? Yeah. I didn't. I've got so much stuff in the studio already to paint. It didn't seem prudent to buy that, but loads of people did. And the Pit Gaming Store, who I recommend you go and have a look at their website because a bunch of really decent guys, more on them later, they will do home deliveries for you. Cool, huh? Anyway, let's get some surface primer on this guy. Let's do it. Right. Here we go. Just going to get a whole load of this in there. Nice. And then I'm going to get some Glow Improver. Yep. And a bit of thinner in there. Because I know that the airbrush is probably not on top form today. And I just want it all to kind of just flow really well. So, yeah. Where's my mixing brush? Here it is. You can see in the hopper that I've still got paint stains in there. Whatever. Who cares? Sue me. Please don't sue me. Right. Okay. Here we go. So, something I learnt from a YouTube pro was to just get the tiniest amount of paint from the airbrush on the model. So almost you can barely see it and it just looks like kind of dust. And then blast it with air. And then go over it slightly heavier with several more passes. That initial pass basically creates something that the rest of the paint can bond to, but you want it to be really thin. So yes, I just keep on doing this now. It just says, yeah, I did get the box set. I now have a bunch of bugs that I'm not sure what to do with. Paint them up, sell them. Or paint them up and play with them. Or just sell them unpainted. Quite hard to see where I've gone over with this colour because it's quite close to the plastic colour, or the resin colour. But I can see the shine is starting to go away, and I can see that on the screen as well. So, yay! I've got some little wooden bases for him as well. So I've got some little 50mm bases, 40mm bases, just little MDF ones. Just turn him onto his side. Here we go. Now these aren't like those really expensive resin kits dinosaurs that you can get from those pro sculptors. It's still a really nice model, and it's still really nicely sculpted. But it's not like, say, it's not one of those 120, 150, 200, dollar ones that you find online. I'm not so skilled yet to want to tackle something like that. Oh, I went a bit heavy there, didn't I? I blow that around a little bit. So yeah, I'm not gonna like do like an amazing job. I'm not. That's not my aim. I just know that I'm not gonna do that, but it's okay. The reason I haven't bought one of those really expensive models is because I don't feel confident to tackle it properly. So I'm learning on one of these really cool models. These little cool models. Little cool models. I'm not talking very well today. It's been a long week, man. Always is in the summer. Looks like he's, sun lounging. No, Stafford, we're not going to burn them in Prometheus. If you go against Tyranids. So Jeff said something about red browns. Where you talk, what were you talking about? The red browns. Were you talking about this little creature, this little beastie? Were you talking about his arm? Were you talking about his skin? Or were you talking about bricks? That makes it sound like the most boring person around. I was talking about bricks. Bricks is a serious conversation now. Just giving him some air. There we go. After the show, I must clean this airbrush out. I think I've just run out. Okay, I'll just put another, just a drop of this in there. Put two in. There we go. I won't bother filling that down right now. Let's just get this. Get it finished. I'd love to make my own little game, dinosaurs in it. I think I'm out of paint. Put a drop of water in there. There we go. Yeah. Just gonna put a bit more cleaner in there. Just let that sit in there for a minute. So I think I'm going to be using a lot of that throughout this show, because sometimes I'm so lazy I don't do it properly, do I? Okay, that can sit over there for a minute. So there we go. Got some primer on him. Enough. Desperately trying to think what to do. I think I will use the airbrush for at least one colour, either the top colour or the underside colour. Especially with the way that the airbrush is behaving, because I haven't cleaned it out properly, because I'm not very good and I'm not practiced for a little while. Trying to maybe do one colour right up to the edge of the armour might be really difficult. I'll give it a go, but I might have to come in with a brush. But maybe I can get some nice blends, who knows? Maybe I can get a nice blend going on. So cool. All very light on my screen. I'm really sorry about the light. I will get better. I will sort it all out. Such a cool action pose. Okay. Kesin says, I think it would look nice in brown. Brown and armor in light brown and ivory spikes. So you're thinking like making the armor brown but a slightly different brown from the brown skin? Just saying you could do dino in your bug colours, like a yellow dinosaur. Yeah, I mean I think that would look really good on a predator though, wouldn't it? Like the Carnotaurus that I was talking about earlier on, or even like a tiger stripe T-Rex. That'd be really cool. I think this guy needs to be brown or green. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go in with green for now, for the skin. Do brown on the top. See what it looks like. Right? What's the worst that's going to happen? Well, I've got so many types of browns. I'm just going to have a little play with them all. I don't really know which ones to choose. That's the big deal. I think I'm going to go in with some goblin green. Do I want to go in with goblin green? Do you know what? Heck, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Take the airbrush out. Bit of a purge on the side over here. This might be like the wrong green to use. We've got a whole selection of other greens, as we know. Sick green looks like it might be better. Okay. I don't know which one to choose. I'm gonna go with sick green. Here we go. Got a bubble. Here we go. Thinner, a little bit of flow improver. Not as much now because I'm not doing all the priming. Not put as much stuff in there. There's some thumbs. Where's my tissue? There it is. Give me a brush off. Okay. You might be right, it might be just nice to do the whole thing brown, but just like obviously differentiate between armor browns and skin browns. I'm gonna give them a go, let's see what it looks like. It's looking very bright right now, I get that, I'm gonna dull him down and all sorts of stuff, so don't panic about the brightness. It's not like he's been at Chernobyl or anything like that. So much fun. I love dinosaurs. I was just never a classroom kid, you know, so by the time it came to making those sorts of decisions, I was well behind academically. Quite embarrassed about that, but also at the same time proud of where I am, so, you know, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. This is a good colour. I like this. Dinosaurs are just one of those things, aren't they, as a kid, that every kid likes, and you read your books that your parents give you or whatever, there's always a dinosaur toy around somewhere, and they just appeal. They're dragons without wings, but they're real, you know. Go see their bones. And then I just never left that behind as a kid. Oh, I've gone through all that green really quickly. Okay, let's get some more. need to get in the habit of washing my brush out after I've used it. He says, and then puts it in the water and doesn't do it. Kes says, for the armour, I would try painting it ivory and stain it with brown. Okay. His legs. Yeah, looks badass. There's a lot of school of thought as well about dinosaurs and the colours that they wear. You know, back in the old days, we used to have science books where they were all like really dull colours and brown and dark green and stuff. But actually, now that we know that they are ancestors of modern birds, there's a lot of speculation to say that there could have been a massive variety in their colours. So yeah, I mean, look at the animal kingdom today. There is seldom is it boring. It's always, quite often, rather very, very colourful. And because we don't know what they actually look like, you probably never really will. Kind of get a free, free artist direction on it, really, don't I? Right, wash that through. Let that dry for a second. It's a good colour. I like it. It looks much more toyish green. It looks more toy soldier green on my screen. I don't know if it looks that sort of green to you, but here in front of me, it's not, which is good. But we all know that that monitor that I've got is rubbish. Screw you, monitor. Right, what colours have I got here? I'm going to spray it brown, and then I'm going to spray it like an ivory colour, so that the brown kind of comes through the ivory. Yeah, that's right. I've got some other colours and stuff that I want to play with. I've got a khaki colour here. That could be a nice colour to do it with. That'd be cool. Just play around with some different colours that I've never really used before. Good stuff. Got some flesh tones, but I've got like dark flesh tones. That's a nice colour to do. Burn flesh is probably not really what I'm going for. Barbarian flesh could be. Let's give that a good shake. Nah, it's a bit on the light side. Give her a nice dark brown. Of course, I've got charred brown, so a brownie favourite is that one. Kes says, in my head it would look nice. Nice transition from strike to armour plate. From scale, is that what you're trying to say? From scale to armour plate? Some spike from spike to armour plate. Yes, I see what you're saying. I agree. That will look good. Correct. I think I'm going to use the dark flesh tone over the charred brown because it's slightly warmer, a little bit lighter. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Make it up as I go along. Who cares? Haven't used this paint ever, so I'm going to make sure that I give it a really, really good shape. You know it's coming, Stafford. Now's your cue. Here we go. Time to waz it on the Waz-O-Matic. Give it a really good mix, really good stir, because I'm fairly certain if I've ever opened this one, it's just to test it, play with it, etc. Okay. Right. Get a whole load of that colour in there. I'm going to put some thinner and some flow improver in there as well. The spout on my thinner has always been very aggressive. I used to put in way much more, way more than what I want to be in there. Didn't clean my or dry my brush out. Give that dry off now. Was it? Too late, sir. Too late. Give you a chance. You gotta be quicker. You gotta be on standby. Okay. It's gonna be quite a watery, quite a thin colour. I'm trying to take my time and be careful with it because I don't want it to go on the green really. It's a nice colour. I've never used this one before, eh? Oh, a bit heavy there. You know, it's a nice colour. I like it. I like it. I will lighten it up with the ivory like Kes suggested because I think it's a good idea. I also like to do things that you guys suggest. You guys are watching it. Thanks for watching, by the way. Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming along on my dinosaur journey. Now, naturally, at this point, there's going to be lots of overspray, and that might help it. Might make it look cool. Might blend, between the two distinct areas on this dinosaur. But it's likely that I'm going to have to go back in and, redress some green. Maybe you come back and redress some brown or whatever. But I'm hoping that this brown is just like a background colour to the ivory. I'll do the ivory over it next. Just going to give it a light dusting, stain it, dry brush it, go back in and play with the greens again. Nice colours though. Look at these colours. Look how good they work together. It's going to give them some air. Actually, really good, and that overspray onto the green is minimal, really minimal, which is cool. He'll do his tail club thing here. Now I kind of got to do all these spikes on the underside, haven't I? So here we go. A little bit of overspray there, but I'm not worried about it. Just having fun moving paint around. Oops. Nice. Gonna make sure that the colour is nice and saturated on the top there. And what I might do is mix some transpirator into the ivory, which will make it like a wash, but it will still have the properties of any sort of airbrush paint. And hopefully it will allow the brown to really show through, and then I can go dry brushing later on. But the ivory will become a part of the colour of the brown. That's the plan. That's what all the pros do. With transpirator, let's see if I'm good enough to do the same. Let's get rid of this colour here. There's loads left in there, isn't there? Yep, there we go. Cool. Bring the purge tank over while he's drying. Give it some air a minute, and then I'll just clean the airbrush out. Showing up better now on the screen, not reflecting so much light in such a mental way. Cool. More air there. Right, yeah, just going to move into the side. And just for fun, really, I'm going to do this bit in a little mixy dish. So, there's one. That'll do. So I bought these off of Amazon, I think. The little, they're like makeup dishes or nail varnish dishes or something. That's what they were called. And I bought them so that I could mix airbrush stuff and then pour it into the hopper without having to kind of get a brush inside the paint chamber on the airbrush, which is not that easy. So let's get rid of Beastie Brown. Don't want Beastie Brown. Get rid of Glorious Gold. I'm not having gold dinosaurs. Got some transpirator. Cool, good stuff this is. And I got some bone white. Now bone white may or may not be the right colour, but I haven't got anything similar to it. I was hoping it would be something a little bit warmer, a little bit more creamier, but I don't have that. Certainly not in an airbrush colour. So I'm just going to go for it. I could always mix a little bit of brown with it if I wanted to. Here we go. Let's get that. In the dish there. And it's about 50-50, makes a really good mix. No need to shake it, there's no pigment or anything in there. Put my hand right in some paint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 for luck. There we go. Ash. It's got a picture of the Terminator on it. Who doesn't love the Terminator? Okie dokie. So I will put a drop of flow improver in there. There we go. See what happens. We'll get a nice mixing brush. This is a nice mixing brush. My crappy old mixing brush. Old Faithful. And it's got a little spout on the side of it, so it's just nice and easy to pour into the thingy. I bring my little paint purging pot over here so I can rest my airbrush on the top in front of me. I do have like a little table clamp, but it's over there out of the way when I'm not using the airbrush, so you can't see it. It's just outside a shot, but I'm just going to pour it in here. I'm just going to use my paintbrush to kind of scoop colour in. The only problem with this is that you always do leave behind a little bit of paint left over. But thinking about it, I've got some sculpting brushes and they're silicone rubber, so this might act like a squeegee. It acts like a squeegee. It's not very good, but it's better than a paintbrush. There we go. Loads of paint. That's fun. So now what I should have is essentially a glaze in the airbrush. And I want to come in really lightly with it. Really lightly. Because the contrast between these two colours is going to be so stark. Doing a nice job there. I don't really know what to expect. I just liked Kez's idea of ivory, and I wanted a browny ivory base to work up from. Oh, a bit heavy there. Nothing I can do about that. Okay. I'm going to leave the underside of the spikes brown without any of this ivory on it. I'll just dry brush those up later on for laziness and for, I suppose, render. Yeah, I like him. Looks cool. Let's get rid of this. Cool. Let him dry for a little bit. I'm going to clean the airbrush out in a second. So yeah. Oh, do you know what I haven't done? I'm talking over my transitions again. What am I doing? I haven't made the little video box here on the side. That's how busy I've been. I've not even been able to do the thing that I wanted to do from last week. So yeah, you're going to stare at a little brick wall bit over here. I really need to sort my life out and get on and sort out those video things. Honestly, normally it's quite a professional looking show, isn't it? Hopefully it is. Look, we're at a little point where we're going to take a break because we don't want to be sat here for a full 2 hours. You need to have a little bit of a break from my ugly mug and my lovely little dinosaur, which I'm having a great time painting, by the way. I need to do a little bit of shading and rendering on the skin. I'm going to do loads of like dry brushing on the arm and bring it all up. I'm going to do a little bit of washing on there as well. I'm a little bit concerned about doing washing on it because it is quite noticeable having the pattern for the printer on there. Is that if I make a wash, maybe it's too thin, it might run into those lines and it will show those up, and I don't want it to. It does have a pattern of like a shell over it, like we expect Ankylosaurus to have, and I want any sort of stains to run into those creases, not the printer artifacts. So yeah, I don't know how a wash is going to go yet. But I'm going to stain those creases. I'm going to dry brush the pointy bits on him, and then do the flesh on him, and then hopefully he's done. A bit of fun, right? Anyway, I'm going to go away, get a cup of tea, and I'm going to clean out my airbrush. What you should do, as always, is go and change your paint water. Go on, go do it. See you in a minute. Bye. one of the worst audio fade-ins I've ever done. I apologise. That was very unprofessional. It just went, have some music. I hope you had a good break. I've been diligently cleaning my airbrush. Not as thoroughly as I normally would do, but it seems to be going well. And I went and grabbed a cup of tea. Because it's a Friday. Normally I have an adult drink by now, but I'm just going a bit easy on those lately. So, cheers. Happy Friday. Should definitely be left for a little while, because that's still incredibly hot. So, yes, while I'm just cleaning the old paint bits out of this airbrush, it might be a really good idea to tell you about some of the really cool things that have happened in the world of Easy 8 recently. They are really cool. So, I keep on getting messages from people from the community saying, hey, did you know about the North Devon model show? Yes, I do. I've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks on the show. Perhaps you haven't seen those parts of the show. That's fine, you don't have to. But just to clarify, yes, the North Devon model show is the thing that Easy 8 is aware of. Easy 8 will be going to it. I would really like to in the future, because it's so close, it's on my doorstep, to have a role in that and have a table and, you know, do cool things there as a part of that show. Probably very last minute and too early notice for me to be able to have like a table presence at that show this year, but I'm still going to go to it because it's going to be at Park School. So if you live in the local area, it's not very far away at all, and you should go and support the North Devon Model Society at the North Devon Model Show on the 13th of August, which I believe is a Sunday. Which is great because Saturdays are very busy for me during August. So yay, that's a win. Now I also got an email from Matt at the Pit Gaming Store. Now I have to confess, because it's out there on the internet for everyone to see, and I will apologise profusely to Matt at the Pit Gaming Store, because last week I called him Rob. I have no idea. Why I did that. The name Rob popped into my head, and I was like, but it's Matt. And then I couldn't decide between the two, and I was pretty confident when I chose Rob. It's Matt. Matt at the Pit Gaming Store. Legends. All of you guys over there. I got an email just the other day from Matt inviting me to take part, having a trader's table as such. Although I won't be trading, I'll be there having a presence, doing what Easy 8 does, having a live painting club there, at a show that they are taking over in Pudsey, which is it's quite far away from here, but it's just the one. Maybe it'll become a regular thing, but it's not like it's every day I'll go up there. This is in the 2nd of December, which is the Saturday, but at that time of year, Saturdays are very easy for me to go. So yes, Matt, to answer your question, and I will email you just in case you're not watching this, but I will go to that. Thank you so much for the invite. It's kind of an open invite. It's not really decided what it is that I'm going to do. They haven't really made up their minds what they want me to do. I think they're kind of just saying, hey, you can do kind of whatever you want. Just have a presence there and support all the traders and the Pit Gaming Store and that painting society, that painting club, that show that comes up every year. Probably the people who have run it previously aren't able to do so anymore, and Matt and his team are going to be running it from here on in, which is great. Yes, of course I'll be there. The Pit Gaming Store have done so much for me in Easy 8, giving me access to discounts on really cool products, and just kind of being there and talking to me, supporting me. Of course I'll come and support you. What a great opportunity it is for Easy 8 as well. And going into the north of England, where maybe I do have a bit of a presence, but I'm down here in the south. It feels like a bit of community outreach at last. Oh, just knocked my microphone. So yeah, I'm going to go there, and I'm going to have a live painting club table. Some guys in the Easy 8 community have already said that they're going to come along and be a part of that, which is great. And I will be maybe even doing a little show there at the same time, like a little live stream, which is I haven't really worked out how I'm going to do that, but I've got some ideas on what I'm going to be doing all day. It will be really cool, because it all does depend on what's available there, to have a little game table in front of the stand so that people can come along and play What a Tanker with me in the Easy 8 community, and just generally be there to promote, be happy, and celebrate the hobby. Of course, I always have links to people's businesses, to providers, to painters, to sculptors, just businesses in general, of all the cool people, wonderful people that I've met. Debris of War, Colin at Charlie Foxtrot Models, my dad at Purple Lion Creations. The list goes on. There's so many down there, and I'll just be there to promote those guys and anybody else who helps support Easy 8 at the same time. So just a great opportunity all around. I've also been invited to be a judge for a live painting contest, or several painting contests throughout the day. I was asked, do I want to do that? Yes, I want to do that. I'd love to do that. What a wonderful opportunity. Thank you for handing me the opportunity. Thank you for thinking of me. This is something very, very new for Easy 8, the dawn of a new era. I don't know why I did that voice. So yeah, that's exciting, right? I've literally been asked. I've been like, hey, would you go and do this? Yes, of course I will. What a wonderful opportunity. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a big deal. And I'm stoked, absolutely stoked to have been, thought of and invited. I'm just bumbling on now because I've just got the last little bit of this to clean out. I'm just cleaning out the hopper. Just put a bit of cleaning chemical on a bit of cotton wool, just scraping out the layers of paint from the hopper so that when I'm mixing things in there later on, it doesn't all fall inside the paint chamber. There we go. I think there should be an airbrush that works reasonably well and smoothly, at least until I stick it in the sonic bath later on with pure alcohol, because that's a good combo. It works really well. That works like a dream. Yay. Right, let's see if the tea's ready to drink yet. Nope. Steady now, you'll burn your tongue. Everything else it touches. Right, let's get that over there. Cool. Do you know what we're going to do? Going to take you over to the workbench, but don't forget, if you like what we do here, please like this show by putting a thumbs up on it and subscribing to Easy 8, because it makes my day when you do, and I like to be happy. So make me happy. Push the button. Do it. Go on. Thanks. Anyway, to the bench. Didn't talk over my transition this time. Yeah, here we go. So, airbrush is working well. It's the dinosaur man is sitting there looking really cool. I'm going to move away from the airbrush for a minute, even though I just cleaned it out. That's fine. Because do I want to move away from it yet? Because I was going to do some dry brushing on the armour. Do you know what? I'm going to go back to the green. Just going to neaten up the edges down here. And now that I've cleaned... Oh, steady. Now that I've cleaned the airbrush out a little bit, I should be able to get a little bit more precise. Any idea of what the show is or what it'll be called? Do you know? Yes, I do. I don't have it to hand. Let me just see if I can find it. I've got it on my phone right here. Good question. We shouldn't really say it out loud, shouldn't we, and support it? I mean, I'll be doing much more on it as time goes on. It's a long way away yet. Here we go. No, there isn't a name for the show at the moment. Supporting the gaming community in Pudsey between Leeds and Bradford. So, don't know what it's called yet, but that's where it is. I suppose as I start liaising more directly with Matt at the Fit Gaming Store, I will know more information. But perhaps you could have a little look if you wanted to see if there is something that already exists out there. So, yeah, there you go. Well, just a wonderful opportunity. I'm absolutely stoked. I never ever thought I'd be asked to go and do anything like that. Just crazy opportunity. I'm gonna keep on saying opportunity. Why not? So I've just put a bit more of that sick green in the airbrush there, mixing it in with a little bit of flow improver, so that I can now just go in and neaten up the edges of his armour bits. I'm just going to move away from the paint that's on the paper there, because it's getting a little bit sticky, a little bit tacky, and I don't want to get it all over him. I don't want to be like ruining his paint job. So just a couple of patches here which I haven't covered very well, so I'm going to come in here and do that bit there. Getting pretty good at that. Nice and neat there. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give that a little bit of air. And what I'm going to do in a minute is I'm going to get a darker green. I'm going to do some, like, I might even use like a little wash or something, or even a contrast paint in the airbrush, and just start, going around some of the creases of his skin, around his hips and his shoulders, etc. Just bringing a little bit of shading to those areas. I'm having a great time painting this little fella. There's a certain amount of pressure on that I put on myself when I'm painting miniatures like Adeptus, the Mechanicus, or my Tyranids, or something like that, or even my tanks, because I have an idea of what they look like, and they're highly detailed, and they're either historical or everyone knows what these miniatures look like, and I kind of feel the pressure to get it done right in this particular way. But these little guys, dinosaurs, innit? just paint them in colour, get it done. Let's start up here by his face. Oh, there's a little support in there. I might cut that out later on. Every now and again I see a little desaturated area on the backs of his legs or something, and I think, oh, I must get that. So yeah, I suppose I'm killing two birds with one stone here. Taking the edges of the brown back up to the armour and filling in the areas that I've missed. Hopefully you can see that on the screen. I don't know if I keep on moving out of the shot or anything, but I think I'm getting it all right. I like him. What do you guys think so far? I think it looks really cool. I love him. He's so cute. There we go. Right, just going to put them down there. Get rid of this paint in here. Oh, that was pretty much it. Excellent. Let's just flush that through. Whew. Whew, how's everybody else's projects getting on this evening? If anybody's working on something, I'd love to know. Tell me what it is that you're working on. If you just tuned in, maybe you just started something, or if you've been doing something from the beginning. How is it going? Let us know. Jeff says that the show that we're talking about could be Recon. That's in Pudsey on the 2nd of December. Sounds like that's the hit, doesn't it? That sounds like it's the one. So, yeah, Recon then. Just going to flush the airbrush through here with this green colour. Get all the paint out of that chamber. That was really easy to clean out, actually. It didn't take an awful lot of effort, and that's working much better. So I'll just make sure that I do a good job. At the end of today, clean it out properly. Don't let me forget. Nice. Right. Pop the airbrush over there for a minute. I'm going to let that green colour settle down. And while I do that, I'm going to... maybe I should put a little bit of varnish on him, just to help protect. He's very spiky, and those spikes are areas that can take away... the paint can come away on my fingers really easily. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to hit him with a varnish. I'm going to go in with a matte varnish, and yeah, that'll hopefully protect him a bit more. Oh, there's a big splooge coming out of the airbrush there, out of the paint pot. Just get a load of that in there. Yeah, there we go. And as I always like to with this stuff, a couple of drops of thinner because it's really gloopy. That's really quite damaging to the airbrush. That means I can just handle this little creature much more. Now I'm going to put some stains on the armour, and then I'm going to dry brush it. And I'll be happy if that's as far as I get today. Do we need some rules for what a dinosaur? Yeah, we do. Guess says, oh yes, I could go for some Dino Riders. I just think I need to make my own little dinosaur game. Love dinosaurs, man. But yeah, what a dinosaur. I'd love it. Just a liberal coating here of varnish. Top side. I'll just give that a little bit of air. A bit more varnish. There we go. Flip him over onto his back. I was going to let the green dry a little bit more, but you know what? I think get varnish on it. There's one thing I learned from last week, right? It's like I'm learning. Got this varnish down to a perfect consistency. It's coming out in a really nice measure. Excellent. Now I will just give that a good old purge. If that dries in the airbrush, it's really sticky. So bear with me while I just purge that out. So yeah. Would you, with a dinosaur game, do dinosaurs with riders, or would you just do dinosaurs and try and do something quite original? I think I'll go for the latter, just because it's not really been done before. I think that'd be quite interesting. But of course, Disain Studios does do all of these models with saddles on their back, which I think is great. Because you would, wouldn't you? If dinosaurs were around, you would totally, tame them, domesticate them, and use them as, you know, vehicles of war. You would. But I reckon you could come up with quite a dramatic game of, you know, can the predator or a few predators take on the herd? Could be an interesting little concept. Everyone's thinking now, aren't they? Can we do it? You should. Right. So let's get a stain on here. What stain shall I use? I think I might go for a little bit of Agrax Earthshade, or just to break it up a little bit, because I'm always using that. I've got a couple of other shades that I could use here. Got Reichland Flesh Shade, which is like a very warm, fleshy brown colour, which I think might be really good. It is a really bubbly paint, and I don't know why. But if I was to get like a little dollop of this out and put it on the white background here, you'll be able to see what colour it is. No, you won't. It's really watery. Wow, that is really watery. It's a nice warm brown colour. I might use that. I might just go for it. I could do something a little bit darker. I don't know. Just do it, Dan. Just get the ruddy paint on it. I'm going to get another one of my little paint tray things. Here we go. And I'm going to use little pipettes just to take the stuff out because it's quite bubbly and I can't see where I'm going in there. And it is quite nice to have a little palette of it nearby. That's what I was doing with the Ceratin last week. Okay, and I can obviously tip any of this back into the pot later on because it's got a spout on it, which is great. Is it a spout? A tippy bit, whatever you want to call it. I think I might just give it a go and run it all over and see how that comes out. So here we go. If I don't like it, I can move it around, right? Although I have to say, that looks quite nice. I don't want it to run down the sides of him. So if he starts doing that, that's going to be a bit of a problem. So I'm just going to keep my brush as clean as I can to go and pick that up. I'm going to try and work on one side at a time. I might have to come in and neaten up the green again in a minute, but that's okay. Looking for a nice filter effect on that sort of browny ivory colour in the back there, in the background, and also picking out all these lines and creases. But it's such a watery shade, it wants to run away quite quickly. You can see it all gathering up down the side of him there. But I don't want it to do. I'll clean my brush out, just on my hand, and I'll just pick that out. Yeah, that's actually quite effective. If it leaves a slight shade of that on the green, that's okay. But if I get a big coffee stain down there later on, I don't really want that. Then it might be that I come over and do a second cover of this later on. That'll be fine. One of those days where a little bit of that heat that we've been having lately would be really helpful because I could do with some accelerated drying time. I think it's quite likely that I'm going to have to come in and neaten up the edges of the green again. But if I've got to, I've got to. Whatever. Mike's joined us. Hi, Mike. Mike says, an Easy 8 game production, Dino Wars. Yes, just got to be careful and make sure that it's not the same as anything else. But yes, I like it. I want that. I want my own Easy 8 dinosaur game. I flipping love dinosaurs. Jeff says, I used to have Dino War game rules made by the same people who did Laser Bear, I think. There is also a board game called Dinos versus Robots. What? I think I need this in my life. I've got a board game that was given to me by one of my closer friends called Raptor. And it's a 2-player game, and you either play as a Velociraptor mum and her babies, or you play human hunters in jeeps with guns and radios and jeeps and stuff. And the idea is that you need to go and capture the young, so that you can take them away to zoos or whatever, and you get money for it. So you've got to capture the little ones, but Mummy Raptor is around and she kills them. It's actually a very, very simple premise, but actually when you really start getting into it, really complicated. And I've only played it a couple of times, but it is fun. I'm a big board game fan. I've got like a board game cafe in my house. I love them. Just love games. It's a nice colour. I like it. I like the way it's working with the colours I've done underneath. I don't know if I could have achieved that any easier, differently, or better, whatever. But I like it. I'm just playing around and having fun here. Just trying to make sure that this shade sits on and around the details that I think will be really nice if they stood out. The spikes are obviously a big one. The creases and the lines in his armour plates or whatever are obvious. Must, really. Got some nice little armour scales on his head there. Don't know if they're coming out very well, but yeah, looks cool. I like him. Just nice to do something different. I'm just going to pop him down for a minute. I'm just going to let him dry. I need to wash this out with my brush because this is a really weird paint. This Reichland Flesh Shade, very, very sticky. As soon as you touch it with your skin, it's got like a glue sort of quality to it, like a tacky sort of PVA poster glue or something. Yucko. Developed his skin already in there. It's quite an interesting effect, that. Like a tree. Oh. Anyway, I'm going to give him some air from the airbrush from a distance because I don't want to blow the wet around. It can just stay where it is. And yeah, I've consigned myself to having to redo the green edges, but do you know what? It'll look cool. I'll dry brush it before that. I wonder if I can put this shade in the airbrush, and because I've noticed that when you atomize the paint through the airbrush, that it dries much quicker because it's going on so thin. The surrounding air just makes it dry almost instantly. So if I might be able to help enhance some of the features on his armor plates, especially here where it's much rounder, much flatter. The details at the back end of the tail seem to be catching the paint much better. I might be able to sort of trick the paint to do what I want it to do with the airbrush, perhaps. Give it a go. I'm going to do it now. Why not? Gonna have a sip of my tea first, though. Yum. I'm going to get you a bit more of a zoom in here. Here we go. Right. Where's my little pipette? Give me some more of this stuff. Dinos versus robots. I've got the rules to laser burn. I think you gave them to me years and years ago, and I've got them somewhere. Here in the attic somewhere, I believe. Right. Much harder to work with a shade in the airbrush because it's just like water. So I've got to get in real close to get really fine detail lines with it. Gonna get really down really close. It does want to run around after it starts to build up a little bit. I can give it some air from a distance, see if that does anything. Of course, it's quite hard. I do have some of the paint running around now and drying, which is going to look really weird, so I'm just going to come in with the regular brush and just see if I can pick some of that up. That's not really working as well as I wanted it to. Oh well. There we go. I will put some water in there, because that's a sticky paint. Worth a shot. Hoping that the dry brushing will hide any of the sort of weirdness that I've just created. Let's clean the hopper out there. There we go, lovely. Okay. Well, let's just give it some air. See if I can do more lines. Might have to hand paint them in. That'll be alright. If I have to, I have to. I'm going to use a smaller brush so it's not holding so much paint at the time. So hopefully when I like touch the bristles onto the model, it then doesn't go have a load of paint that then runs all over the place. So I'll get my 0 out for this one. That seems to work. Okay. Dabbing this paint in. If I start to build it up too much, or if I put too much, if I'm going down the line, I've noticed if I put some paint at the top, it stays there. But as I go down the sides, it's like there's too much weight to the paint, and it kind of starts pulling the paint down, and then it pulls up around the bottom. It's a really runny wash. I might have to like paint dark lines in, but you know, that's okay. Not ideal. but it's something that I can do. I like this colour, and I haven't got a colour in a paint that isn't a shade, like a normal paint, to kind of match this, really. That I'm aware of, anyway. Taking the centre line all the way back. A little bit out of shot. See if I can move him in. There he is. Staff says, "Bum, Tough Mudder is on the same weekend as the North Devon Model Show. That sucks for me." You're off to Tough Mudder then, are you? You should go and do that. Be fit and healthy. Or do the run and then come back and meet us. See you there. Okay, starting to work. These lines might be like totally obscured by the times I get to dry brushing. Once I finish dry brushing it all, these lines may be much harder to spot. Getting some nice patterns on there though. The Dino Combat game was by Tabletop Games back in the 70s, if anyone can find it. Mike says, I'm off to the Army Flying Museum tomorrow for the Wings and Wheels Day. That sounds exciting. Lots of photos on Easy 8, please. Lots of inspiration and reference. Sure, I don't think I've painted an aircraft since I was a kid doing Airfix models. Right, let's pick them up and turn them around this way. Need a bit more paint in my palette. The paint is drying with a funny little sheen on the paper just over here. My belly just made a funny noise there. If you heard that, I do apologise. I'm just a human man. Got a bit heavy with it there, haven't I? Pull that out a little bit. Got like a little ridge line going along the side of him here as well, where his spikes kind of join on the side. Just nice to be able to pick all these details out. And the dry brushing later on, of course, will really enhance all of those features too. But like most of my sort of washing and shading and things, it's going to need a long time to dry. I'm having a great time painting this evening. It's just such a refreshing change from doing all the war stuff or the 40k stuff. Nice to break it up from time to time. Is there a particular type of model or subject that any of you guys particularly want to paint that you've never done before, or it's been such a long time since you've done it, that actually now you're thinking, I could do with going on that. I'd be interested to know. I think it's looking pretty cool. Got all those lovely lines on it. If I cover up the light, it's less shiny. Better, isn't it? Yeah. Looks a little bit messy at the moment because it needs a lot of drying up, and there's lots of beads of paint and things all over him. But yeah, like Kez says, a nice ivory dry brush all over that will go a long way to really enhancing those details. But we're pretty much coming to the end of the show, and I think I'm at a point where I'm going to struggle to do any more on him for a minute while he's drying. I can sit here and blow in a bit of air, but it's a really watery shade, and yeah, I'll just end up blowing it around all over the place, and well, that would just be rubbish, wouldn't it? So yeah, just going to sit here for a minute and see how quickly it dries. Mike says that the highlight will be that the Mark 7 Lynx that has been restored to flying condition. I used to work on it when I was still in service. Exciting. I know nothing about helicopters. There is a Lynx, there's a Cobra, and there's an Apache. I know there's a Hind. And then there's the big yellow one, the Sea King. That's, yeah. And there's the Jolly Green Giant. That's literally all I know about helicopters. So, yeah, perhaps you could teach us the helicopter ways. Tell us why it's a Mark 7, what makes it special, and is it really old, and why has it been restored? Why did you used to work on it, and you know, why did you stop working on it, apart from maybe the fact that you left the service? I suppose it's probably a completely legitimate answer. Tell us all about helicopters. Carry on the conversation over on Facebook. Make a little thread for it on Discord so that people can go and like, you know what, I'm going to go and do some stuff about helicopters. It's all there for you, all these resources. Now that that's at a nice temperature, that is a very good cup of tea. I'm going to put my Seraphim CP back. I do need to get some more Seraphim because, as you can see, I'm very, very low on it. It's a very good colour, though. I do like it. The other colours that I was looking at doing this monster in was Agrax Earthshade. Very, very dark, very, very cold sort of colour. Quite enjoyed the warmer colour here today. I've also got Gulliman Flesh, which is a contrast paint, which I wonder if is actually very similar to the colour that we've been using here. Being a contrast paint, it's going to be thicker, it's going to be slightly more viscous, it's going to have a totally different property when put on the model, and maybe I play with that later on as well. As you can see, it's got quite a reddy orangey tone to it. It's quite red in front of my eyes, orange on the camera there, and yeah, it obviously creates a filter and a wash effect at the same time, but you know, I don't really use that colour very much, so I went with that one instead. I've just found here Celia Green Shade. This is a really pretty colour. It's very, very cold blue green. It might be a really nice colour to wash the skin in, but obviously I have to wait until the armour is finished. So at this rate, it might be a nice thing to pick up next week. Do a little bit of dry brushing, get on with the skin, and wash that, and then finish them off. Perhaps that'll be really, really nice. I've got, going back to some of my other models, I'm going to lean back a little bit in my chair. I'm kind of done. Yeah, my other models, I've got my Carnotaurus. Carnotaurus, it's just my favourite dinosaur. You can't all have T-Rex as your favourite dinosaur. He's an amazing dinosaur. He's the king of the dinosaurs. Like there are fossil studies on YouTube by a British paleontologist. I can't remember his name now. David Byrne, perhaps. He's like the leading paleontologist on T-Rex. And if T-Rex isn't your favourite dinosaur, he will turn it into your favourite dinosaur. But when you're asked what's your favourite dinosaur, you can't choose T-Rex. It's everyone's favourite. It's amazing. We all know it. Get over it. Choose another one. Carnotaurus is where it's at. So, yeah, I like him because he's got a really, really short, stubby like skull. He's got a really, really short muzzle. No one really knows why. No one can. There are speculations, but they're all kind of wishy-washy. He's also got a couple of horns on him. These horns on this Carnotaurus are really quite long compared to what we've got on skeleton record or fossil record. But we know that fossils, when it comes to horns and things, may actually only be like a core, like a bony core, where keratin would cover over the top and often be much larger on the outside. For example, a rhino horn might only be like this on a skeleton, but we know that rhino horns can grow to massive proportions. So it's a speculation really as to what Carnotaurus's horns look like. I like to think that he might have like really big curly ram horns, or like pointy forward bull horns or something. And the name Carnotaurus basically means bull lizard, because Carnotaurus. Yes. I just think it's a fascinating creature. It comes from a family of dinosaurs called the Abelisaurs, of which there are lots of other different types. But when it branches off into the Carnotaurus, it is the only genus, and it's the only one that has any of the features really about the head that we've ever seen. All Abelisaurs have really, really small stubby arms. But what we do know is that all of these big ridgy scales all the way down his back, they're called scutes. They're really, really thick, heavy-duty, old-fashioned, traditional artist depiction scales. We know that he had them because not only do we have a very, very complete skeleton, but we've also got a perfect skin impression fossil. So where it lay in the floor, we've determined that he's got all of these right up to his head, but not the horns. Curse you, fossils. So yeah, fascinating. He also has the largest leg muscles in his thighs and in his calf, especially in his thighs, comparative to the rest of his body, compared to any other dinosaur. And he has a massively thick tail, again, comparatively to itself. So, as where a lot of dinosaurs have sort of tall, when you're looking from the sides, like quite tall tails, but quite flat and long, Carnotaurus had really, really chunky, wide tail. And they hypothesize, I say they, paleontologists, hypothesize that the tail would wag from side to side as the thighs would contract, and basically catapult the legs backwards and forwards, meaning that they're fairly confident that it was insanely fast for its size. Now I think it's only about sort of 9 meters long. But that's really, really big. 9 meters long. I might be thinking of the T-Rex. It's not the biggest predator in the world. It's on par with Allosaurus. 9 meters. For some reason, I've got that number in my head and I can't shift it. Whatever. Anyway, it's a big old diny, really, if you're considering that you're a man or a woman stood in front of it. But yeah, they reckon it could run really, really fast, and but because of its tail and the fact that it was so chunky and it would wag to kind of help accelerate it and use its massive leg muscles, they don't think that it was very agile in terms of turning. So it would basically probably come out something and then chase you down. But if you were like really agile and were able to wisp in behind trees or objects or whatever, you could probably get away with it. But yeah, actually behind me, just over here, I've got a little skull, but like sized right down, which I'll get out next week, because something that I don't do in the show is get out of the chair. So yeah, Carnotaurus, I would love to hear your thoughts on what colours Carnotaurus should be. I've got a toy Carnotaurus which sits in my car. I call him Gar, because he goes Gar and he guards the car. That's why, yeah, okay, I'm a child. He's red, like a dark red, and he looks really cool. He's got like dark red sort of patterns on him. I think in Jurassic World Domination, I think that he's also that same sort of colour, so he's dark red there. And I don't think I've really ever seen any other sort of coloured depictions on him, so maybe it could be really cool to see him all in blues. I do believe that he was in Prehistoric World, which David Attenborough narrated, which is on Apple TV. I've not yet seen it. I've seen little clips of it where he's got little blue arms because he uses them as a mating dance. But maybe there's some really sort of cool colour ideas that we can use for this guy. I think it'd be really, really cool. to have him in any colour. Maybe tiger stripes, maybe cheetah spots. That would be cool, right? Some comments going in. Mike says Lynx was one of the only helicopters that can go fully inverted. Oh my gosh, not for a prolonged period of time, right? Like a loop the loop or something, yeah? And not to brag, but Lynx holds the airspeed record for helicopters that remains unbeaten. What is that speed? That's cool. Kez rightfully says, I think you find that Airwolf holds that. Blue Thunder, sister? Like the Lynx. Yeah. Oh, I like the Lynx. I get it. It just says, not as fast as an Allosaurus, my fave. You probably faster, actually. The Lynx and the Carnotaurus. Very hard to know exactly how fast something would have gone. But yes, Allosaurus, of course, is another fantastic animal. Is one of my favourite dinosaurs. He's right up there in my top 3. T-Rex and Carnotaurus and Allosaurus. They're right up there. They're fantastic animals. Allosaurus, I could talk for hours on dinosaurs, and this is a painting club, but yeah, it is believed that Carnotaurus was extremely fast. They know how big his muscles were because, well, they can determine these things by studying bones. He's got huge vertebrae at the base of the tail, which can only support massive muscle structures. Just that, why has he got horns and why has he got a really, really short, stubby snout? I think he looks really cute. Anyway, that's Carnotaurus. That's Ankylosaurus, or as some people call it, Ankylosaurus. I don't know what to call it. I don't know which one. Last few comments going in. Stafford says that's the friendly ones, wasn't it? The Allosaurus. That's the friendly ones. What are you talking about? Mike says not even Airwolf can keep up with the Lynx. Good to know. Like I say, I know nothing about airplanes or helicopters. I know a little bit more about airplanes, but you know what? That only really comes from playing like War Thunder on the PC. Yes, I play War Thunder. So do quite a few people in the Easy It community because everyone plays War Thunder. It's free and it's accurate and it's good fun. Anyway, no, I think we're really kind of done here, aren't we? So I forgot to put a little thing in the corner, so you can have that before I transition out of here. Let's move away from the Ankylosaurus. He also needs a name. Allo, as in hello. Is it really friendly? Is that what makes him friendly? Yeah, whatever. Shut up. I honestly, yeah, don't forget to clean your airbrush. Thanks, because I totally had forgotten. Thank you very much. Yes, I will do that. So yeah, you can tell that I like dinosaurs. Look, I love 40k. It's the war game for me. It's the premier war game. I've always loved it. People will complain that it's changed over the years. It's got to change. Get with it. It has to. Oh, it's changed for the worse. Actually, there are a lot of good things that 40k has changed over the years, and we've gone to some worse rule sets over the years. 5th. We've gone to some much better ones. 9th. I've yet to play 10th. I'm really looking forward to it. I really love painting all the armour. I've got 135th models, some of them actually still need finishing. I've got my 15mm down here. I've had loads of fun painting 28mm World War II stuff. I love doing those. But it's been a real nice break to paint these dinosaurs today, and I'm looking forward to doing more in the future. And I might use them to kind of break up the monotony of painting regularly on other subjects. So next week I'll hopefully try to finish this Ankylosaurus here. Like I said, just having fun, just keeping it simple. The details, well, they look really good and aren't in depth. They don't have like really deep ridges on the armor plates, for example. So it's quite hard to really pull those details out. It does have lots of spikes in them, so they'll come out really cool. So I'm just going to have fun with him. It's not a super detailed model. He does look really nice and tidy. So hopefully it'll look nice with just a minimal bit of effort on there, really. Kez says, I've played 2 games of 10th now. Not bad. Cool. I'm really looking forward to playing it. Hopefully I'll have a little bit of time over the next couple of weeks. It's going to go sort of get busy-ish, get its peaks and troughs, sort of bounding around a little bit, and then summer's going to come in for 6 weeks, and I'm fairly certain I'm going to be nuked to death on that. But I don't know yet. Normally it's very because I work with children over the summer holidays. We do a lot of loco apprentice stuff. It takes a lot of emotional intelligence, and it kind of is emotionally draining. Just because you have to have so much concentration all the time. Anyway, yeah, hopefully I'll have time to play it. I'd love to play a game with you and with Leslie, who I know you've been playing with. Anybody else in the local area wants to have a game at 10th. Let's do something. Let's try and pin a date down and have a go. Let's give it a shot. But like I was saying, like while I love all these games, it's just nice to just take a break and just paint something that doesn't have a game to it. It just is what it is. It's a nice thing. This is what John does on Out of This World Models and Minis. Go check out John's YouTube page. There is a link just down there because he just goes along and just paints whatever he wants because he likes the look of it, because it was nostalgic from his childhood, or just because he likes the way that it plays in a game, and he does videos on just whatever he wants to do at any time. And he's fantastic. He's been playing around lots of really cool products, and he's just a really swell guy, and I do like to show him lots of support. So please head on over there, like his videos, give him a thumbs up, and subscribe to Out of This World Models and Minis if you haven't already, because he's just a nice bloke, and I'm still looking forward to being able to actually have a video chat or a phone call chat with you, John, when you watch this back, because I know you will. I've actually got to go and watch your latest video, which was a Rust video, I believe. You've got the latest Dirty Down product, because John's a really big advocate of Dirty Down products. They are expensive, but you only have to buy one, but it'll last you forever. Use some punctuation. Anyway, look, it's the end of the evening, and I could talk for hours because I've been playing Dinosaurs. Until next week, and I'm going to carry on painting this guy. You stay safe, be kind, keep on painting, and I'll see you next time. Take care now, bye-bye. Did you notice that I couldn't find the button then? He's going to stay with us forever. See you at Discord.